it's Christina and welcome back to my channel in the brand new year 2018. So if you are new to my channel, this channel mostly focuses on how to live frugally on a budget, and I follow Dave Ramsey's principles and I try to apply those the best I can to my life to live a debt-free life. So what I'm bringing to you guys today is a 2017 spending report. So I'm going to start off by letting you guys know what I spent as far as my debts go in 2017, so how much I paid off. And it seems like a big amount, but it's kind of small in the grand scheme of things, so it kind of puts things into perspective for me now that I'm tracking. The whole reason I started these videos was to hold myself accountable, and so that's what I'm doing right now by kind of going back and seeing what kind of progress I made throughout the year. So I'm proud of it, but you know, I wish it were higher. So let's see what I did. So far for 2017, I paid off 2 iPhones from my Verizon plan. If you have Verizon or any other probably plan, you know that like you make your monthly payments, and I did not want that. That reduced my monthly payments once I paid off the cell phones, and unfortunately I was responsible for paying off 2 iPhones rather than 1, and that was just a dumb mistake on my part, but I was responsible for it and I covered it. So one iPhone I paid off at $280, and another iPhone I had to pay off at $400. So those are my first 2 smallest debts. Next, I paid off a credit card, and that was for $2,150. And then lastly, I paid off another credit card, which was $940. And all of those figures were in the beginning of last year, around this time in 2017. So that's the amount that I paid off entirely, for a grand total of $3,770. But there's more. And that would be that I made additional payments to other debts that I had, obviously for minimum, payments. So it was important to note 2 of them. So one was a student loan, and I paid off about $500 throughout the year on that. And then another big one is my mortgage, and I paid off about $3,000 on my mortgage. Obviously, I spent more than $3,000 on my mortgage this year, but that would include my taxes, the interest on the loan, and PMI. So that's how I spent more, but I only probably have paid about $3,000 to my principal. So that is a grand total of all of those things, $6,770. And so it sounds grand, like, ooh, I paid off thousands, but it's fine. It's okay. I'll give myself like a little pat on the back and then like make this mental note to try to do better. Okay, other financial accomplishments that I want to talk to you about that I was able to achieve this year in addition to paying off my debt. And one of which was I gave a lot this year. I've never done it before in my life. I've always been like greedy with my money because I work hard for it and then I never have any left at the end. How can I ever afford to give? But when you budget and you figure out what you're paying for every month in advance rather than after the fact, it allows you to add something small even in your budget. So I'm not saying I like gave a lot of money, but I gave like never before, and I feel like it's had a great impact even just on me. Like personality wise, like I feel really good about it. So it's really made a change in my life. Another big thing that I was able to do this year by funding it through cash was I had my furnace serviced, and I paid for that in cash. And you guys know, I think I saved that through my tax return last year. And even though I have my choice home warranty policy, which you guys probably know about by now, they didn't really come through for me on an issue over the holiday break, and I had to pay for something, a repair out of pocket. And they're gonna reimburse me for, a partial payment. But anyway, the moral of the story is that I had the money that I needed when my furnace needed to be repaired. When my fridge was warmer than my kitchen, I needed to pay up. I needed to get it handled. So yes, that actually happened, and I was desperate to get it handled, and I was able to do it with a little bit of worry, but minimal worry compared to what it would have been like 2 years from today, 2 years ago. Another big thing that I had done that I never would have been able to do before prior to Dave Ramsey was to sweep my chimney. And that's just good for like regular maintenance for the house. And it's something I probably would have neglected prior to Dave Ramsey. I would have waited until it was absolutely necessary, and then I would have probably put it on a credit card, and it just would have been a really bad cycle. Another thing is I am currently working on refinishing my bathroom, and so that seems like a really an unnecessary thing that I probably shouldn't be spending my money on, but I think if you've watched me for a while now, you know that I put part of my tax return aside for this, and I've put a little bit more money into it because, you know, it's always a little more than you budget. But the reason why I find that so important is because I needed my bathroom finished if I ever want to move to somewhere more affordable. I want to be able to just uproot if I need to, and I need my house to be marketable. And prior to like now, part of the wall didn't even have sheetrock on it, and it was like uneven. The vanity wasn't up against a flat wall, and so it just was not going to be a good look if I needed to sell my house. So for very little money, I am making a small investment so to allow me the freedom if I need it to be able to sell my house. And then lastly, and I probably shouldn't have done as much as I did, but you know, hopefully lesson learned for next year, but I was able to fully fund in cash all of my Christmas expenses, all the gifts that I got, all the decorations that I got, everything to do with Christmas was covered in full in cash. And that was something, you know, in years past, I've never been able to do. So on top of paying off the debt, I'm still like managing my lifestyle and doing all these other things in the year, and I'm just really excited about those things. Moving on to the last part of this video, I wanted to talk to you guys and tell you about what my goals are for 2017 financially. And so the first one is I have a student loan. I have never paid off in full a student loan yet before. I really actually probably never thought I was going to be able to do it like until I was a grandma. So, and this one was small to begin with, so let me not start making it sound like, you know, I'm doing this really big thing. It's just part of my debt snowball, so it is my next debt that I need to pay for, but I think it's going to be achievable in the next week or two, and I'm just really excited for that. Because it's like I'm starting to chip away at something that I didn't even ever think I was going to fully pay for. So that's exciting. Next, I want to be able to pay off my last credit card debt. So it's obviously exciting to be able to pay off my credit cards because then I'm moving on to my student loans, and then after my student loans, it's my mortgage. So, you know, that's not too bad, except, you know, my school's kind of expensive, so I have some years ahead of me. Next, well, I'm not being overly ambitious this year with how much debt I can pay off, considering you guys know I have to go to grad school, which I don't want to do. But I have to do it, and you guys know the backstory. So anyway, I'm going to make sure that I can cash flow grad school because that's going to be like $5,000 in rotation until I'm finally done, which will be like a few years from now. And then I'll finally get my money reimbursed. So I really need to have like $5,000 in rotation. So I'm paying off these other things and making sure that I never see $5,000 of my money until like years from now. Okay. Next up, one thing I'm gonna do, and it's kind of like for fun, but kind of a financial thing, is for my family's, hey Buggy, for my family's birthdays, I have a really large family, which is partly why I spent so much on Christmas, but I have a very large family, and last year I didn't do any birthday gifts for anybody except for my mom and dad, and this year, it was kind of by accident. It was already my brother's birthday actually today, but we celebrated it yesterday. And I had in my house this really antique, intricate mirror that I spray painted to look like more modern, but it really looked cool. And I knew that one of my brothers, whose birthday it is today, I knew he would really appreciate it for his house. So I just happened to have it, and it didn't match my decor because, as you can see here, I'm kind of like with the pine and things like that, a little bit like farmhousey here. And not just because it's the trend, but because I think it actually works for like my colonial style home. So like old American is, I think, the theme of my house here. But what old American wasn't like farmy. So anyway, that's a little side tangent, but it didn't fit my decor here in my home. Even though I loved it, I'm trying to adopt also, along with Dave Ramsey, I'm trying to be like minimal, or at least just getting rid of excess in my life that I don't need. And that was one of those things. So anyway, just by chance, it had come from Goodwill, and it was a really meaningful gift that I think he actually will really like and use in his home. And it sparked the idea in my mind, well, okay, now I did for one brother, what am I gonna do for the rest? And I was just really forthcoming with telling him yesterday, like, hey, it was from Goodwill, because they were asking me about it. But I'm thinking I'm gonna try my best to do like a Goodwill birthday challenge and try to find something meaningful for them all from like a thrift store or Goodwill. And it's something hopefully like rare that they won't be able to duplicate from any like big box store. And maybe if I have to put my own little touch on it or tweak something or paint something or whatever, then that would be meaningful too. And so it's still saving a little bit of money. Although last year I didn't buy any, but I had saved every month like $5. So if for every month that there's a birthday, I spend the $5 on something from Goodwill, but it like has a real impact like of more expensive thing. I don't know, I just think it'll be something fun, and it's a good way to show my family that I'm thinking of them. So we'll see how it goes. So that's gonna be my Goodwill challenge. And what I think I wanna try to do is make a video on that one day soon. The next birthday is coming up in February, so I better start looking for things at Goodwill. It may be a total bust where I can't find anything for him, but we'll see how it goes. And lastly, so at the end of this year, this will have been my 2.5 year of doing a Dave Ramsey lifestyle. And I haven't bought a thing for myself. Like I've bought clothes and I buy things for the house, and I'm not totally, every single time I pay towards my debt. I'm not totally that way, but I really want a Louis, guys. I don't know what else to say. I really want a Louis. And I feel like after 2.5 years, I hopefully can get one for myself. And I wouldn't put, it on any credit card, and I would just buy it for myself. So I don't know if that might be a little too ambitious, and I might not even, after a year, I might not even feel comfortable at the end of this year still buying myself a Louis, because maybe one of my debts that I talked about earlier are not paid. So we'll see how it goes, but I think if I'm really still dead set on a Louis, I'm gonna grant myself the ability, like reward, because it's been 2.5 years. So I'm gonna try to get myself a Louis, I think. Let me know what your 2018 goals are in the comments below. And thank you for joining me in a new year, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.